Alright, let's see. First game I want to check out. First game I want to check out is... This was a team game I played, where I played Slardar. And I got a 1v1 matchup versus an Earthshaker. And so we'll see how my item build and sort of my movements sort of fit with that game. And we'll move for it. Our team feels really confident with Slardar. We first pick it. We don't care because we think the hero is really strong. And they ended up going with kind of like a dual lane mid, the Bane, Shadow Fiend, really common nowadays. And so we ended up putting a Lich Templar mid with a Rubik Troll safe lane, and then I was just kind of left to my own devices. And we kind of expected the Gyrocopter Earthshaker, but they ended up deciding to solo an Earthshaker bottom. So we'll check out my perspective. And I didn't end up getting a ward this game. We decided to use the ward elsewhere, which is okay. You don't always have to focus on that, on warding that pull.
30 seconds to battle.
But we ended up using it for the rune, and I'm just kind of like gonna fast forward a bit. So we saw them all top. I'm here to try to contest the rune, but we end up kind of giving up bottom and giving up top. Pretty big mistake, but important thing is I get back and I block. I had a Lich, so my block is a little bit better, but you can see I tried to block such that the range creep went first. I just didn't block well enough. And now, since I realize it's just me versus an Earthshaker, which is a little weird, I'm playing defensive until Gyro shows up, because I'm expecting Gyro to be here, like come around the corner and rocket barrage me. So I'm playing a little scared of this Earthshaker, even though it ends up being him by himself, and I think that's completely fine. You definitely want to assess the lanes. Now that Gyro's shown, I know I can play a little more aggressive. So I'm pulling the aggro, getting in free right clicks when I can on Earthshaker. And right now I'm just looking to farm and do as much damage to him. That was a good opportunity to kind of get Crush off and not take that much damage. So I sort of took it. But I'm looking to hit level 2, get sprint up, and that kind of thing. And what I've noticed is this guy's used Fissure twice. And so Earthshaker's mana pool, he doesn't actually have enough mana to cast multiple Fissures. And so I'm thinking, unless he clarities, he's not going to be able to Fissure again. And here, I pick up my boots, I start some aggression. Right, there's no way he can fight me in lane. And so now I'm starting to play the bully role because I have sprint. Walk up, hit him, cancel his clarity, like force him out of this lane. I've controlled equilibrium really well, and I've essentially created a safe lane in a 1v1 environment because my hero is a bigger bully than his. So now what I do is I just farm. I don't care that he's getting experience necessarily. Me chasing him, I'm not necessarily going to kill him, but there he uses his last Fissure. And so now I know that he doesn't have enough mana. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait essentially, well, he uses another Fissure. So he's probably claritying up back there. But now I'm waiting for the right time to get aggressive, and I'm waiting for the creep wave. Here I pick up an Orb of Venom, helps me get it more aggressive. He walks the wrong way. Use my stun early in case I need another one, because I can mango for it, which is what ends up happening. Pick off a nice kill. They even TP in a Bane, but he's not there in time. So here I salve up. I can look to go back in, I can look to go take the bottom rune, although our team took it. But what I should be expecting is usually when you kill someone, they come back into lane and they try to kill you. I got a little lucky there in that they didn't combo their spells very well, and so I ended up living. But, you know, when you kill someone, expect them to come back. And I definitely screwed up there and got a little lucky surviving on 50 HP. So here I complete my magic wand. This is just to have that little bit of extra mana pool. You can see I elected to go for more fighting items because I was in a 1v1 lane. And I asked a support to buy me a TP, and he did. So here I show up, I'm level 6. Bully, bully, out of lane. And that's the kind of stuff you want to be doing in 1v1 matchups, especially once you get amp. You are a very big bully. You do a lot of damage. Minus 10 armor early on. There's no hero that has 10 armor at level 5. And so here what I'm doing is I'm kind of deciding like how I should go about this game. I'm seeing a couple of heroes under the rune, so I'm just farming a little bit, but I'm pushing. And the reason I'm pushing is I have done really well in my opening lane, and so now I want to try and snowball the rest of my team. And what do I see? I see a Shadow Fiend mid. Shadow Fiend's very vulnerable to ganks. He has no escape mechanism, and I've got a TA Lich sitting there. So I run. I even see the Earthshaker here, but I just don't even care. I just decide that we can kill him. He's out of position. I run up, throw an amp, get a nice crush. He dies. And this is what I'm talking about. First 7 minutes of the game, I destroyed my lane, I destroyed the mid lane, and now I'm snowballing the game in our favor. As a Slardar, you're not necessarily looking to win the game all the time. You're looking to set up your team to win. And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at TA, gets a nice start, can take Roche, can push my towers. Like, she is my tower pusher in this game. And so if I can set TA up to have a really nice game, I can win the game that way. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Here I end up dodging a gank bottom. But that's most of what I wanted to show from this replay. There's one other thing I wanted to show, which is at 53:48. So that's right here. So we'll go kind of like the state of the game, right? Game's been a little bit closer than we wanted. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to set up a Roshan attempt because Roche is about to spawn. And so what you'll see is me on the top side of the map with a TP pushing. And I feel safe pushing here because I've got a BKB and I know that they have been showing down bottom. And my goal is to force someone back, right? They're all showing bottom right now. We have a really nice ward and they're showing in lane. So I know where they all are. And my goal is to force someone to come back top, because when Roche spawns, we want to instantly TP and just take it. And we've got a nice Roche trap, like Roche ward, or a trap and Roche because we're playing TA. And so we're able to see that when it instantly spawns and then react based off of that. Now, Gyro is showing in the bottom at the top lane, which means he is unable to contest the Roshan that just spawned, which means I TP in, we get some nice follow-up between me and TA, or me and Troll. TA shows up as well, and this Roche dies almost instantly. And that's how you take free Roches in the late game. You don't want to be contesting with Slardar. His greatest strength is he kills Roche so fast he doesn't need to contest. And that's like just a big point I want to get across. So I think that's it from this replay. So let's check out the next replay. The next replay is going to be a duel versus duel lane. So let's check this game out. This is this game. One of the other reasons I like picking Slardar is he kind of block picks a couple of the really common pub heroes that you see that just win games. And so one of those is like Huskar, and other ones like Broodmother. Those are just heroes that you see a lot, and Slardar basically prevents those picks from kind of happening. So this game, I first picked Slardar. We ended up securing the top rune for our team. They decided not to fight into our two stuns. We had a Tiny and a Slardar. I didn't really have anything at level 1. But what we're going to end up seeing is that it's me and Dazzle in this lane. And Dazzle's decided to come top because he thinks that Gyro plus Witch Doctor is enough to safely farm the safe lane. And I think that's a pretty good assessment. So he comes top with me, and he's actually a pretty good support for me, in that in this lane we're going to be going up against a Huskar and an Omni Knight. So it's a dual lane versus dual lane, and in a lot of ways we have a stronger dual lane, but Huskar is a very good harasser. So what you're going to end up seeing is I'm going to want to get last hits as much as possible, but I don't want to eat a flaming spear from this Huskar. And so what you're going to see me doing a lot in this replay is pulling aggro. See how we've pulled this creep to a safe location such that Huskar is not burning spearing me. And then here we take advantage of the creep wave. Omni was in a terrible position here. Let's slow this down and watch this again. So this is more just a mistake by the Omni. Omni's chilling over here. We have really good creep positioning. I get a nice stun. Stun, hit, and here I should have attack moved. I think I could have killed him if I attack moved because he's one hit from dying. So that was a mistake on my part. But that was definitely a first blood. Just big mistake by that Omni. So keep going, talking about this replay. We have good creep pushing right now, and you know, I could be thinking about going on mid right now, but the thing is that I don't really have boots and I don't really want to make that trek. It's a little too early, even though we're pushing the wave. I kind of want to farm up my boots before I start making that trek to the mid lane. And Dazzle's putting out a lot of nice pressure. I have only eaten one flame spear so far, so that's really good on me. And here I pick up my boots, which means I'm looking to play aggressive. And so what do? We pull the wave back, we push it a bit. Nice harass by Dazzle sets up a nice kill on the Huskar. And you can see how our teamwork, like how good our teamwork is using this kill. In that I tank as much damage as I can, and then Dazzle tanks as much damage as he can, and we end up finishing off this Huskar. Huskar TP's back in. Like, he is not farming. And, like, you aren't necessarily farming a lot on Slardar as well. Like, I've got 8 last hits and he's got 7. But Slardar is more about denying than he is about farming himself. And if you put out a lot of aggression early, you can actually... you can cause a lot of problems for these safe lane carries in that you delay their game a lot, in that all you really need is 3k net worth. You really don't need that much. Here, Riki shows up, gets aggressive, messes up his creep aggro. I get a nice stun as well as a nice shadow wave, and we get a nice kill on him. And then Witch Doctor TP's in as he sees aggression. We get a nice kill. And this is like what you're looking for in a game, right? We're 4 minutes into this game, and we've basically already had 3 kills up on the top lane. This is the kind of aggression that Slardar is looking for. And I think that's what you've got to be picking him looking towards doing, which is you fight, and then a lot of times they're going to realize, well, we can't fight this Slardar anymore, and they just back off. And like this Huskar this game, he spends the next basically 5 to 10 minutes jungling while I free farm the off lane because of how much pressure we put out in the first 4 minutes. Like, he has no items to do this, but look, he's just jungling. Feels like he's not safe in his lane, his supports can't help him, and meanwhile carry Slardar in the off lane doing work, even though we've got a Gyro on the opposite side of the map free farming. He got first blood with the help of our Witch Doctor. And then we also have a tiny mid. So like, this is the kind of game where you can just snowball and win based off of it. And so what I'm thinking about this game is that my game has been really good thus far. And your item progression always has to be relevant to what's going on in the game. So when I'm looking at this kind of a lineup that they have a really strong mid-game push kind of lineup, which means we're probably going to want to take it late versus them. We can fight into their mid-game fighting lineup, but most of the time we're going to end up to look to go late game. And in this game, I'm looking to coordinate my blinks with Tiny, who's also looking to build a blink, as well as mostly just Tiny. It's mostly me and Tiny. So my goal is to try to finish my blink at the same time that Tiny finishes his blink. And so what I elect to do is, instead of getting that 8-minute blink online, because our fighting has gone so well, I actually end up choosing to go for a Midas. Because I'm essentially free farming this lane, no one's bothering me. Like, this is the first time someone's shown up in 4 minutes, and they show up and they basically run away. And I think I end up diving here. We end up diving this tower here. So I got a nice amp on Slar, on Huskar. Huskar just instantly dies because he has no armor. This is a really nice snowball by Tusk. And their whole team rotates. Here I get out as much damage as possible. I probably should have just kept hitting him. I thought I could run away, but this range creep ends up finishing me off. Riki was there too. So 5-man rotation to the top lane at 8 minutes. Like, that's a really good amount of pressure. And I didn't buy my gold before I died. But you can see I'm very close to my blink. And so what I'm looking at is I'm looking at Tiny's items in addition to mine. And what I see is Tiny's about 1k away from blink. And so what I say is that if I can go a Midas here and then finish my blink around the same time that Tiny has his blink, then we can cause a lot of pressure. And so what you're seeing again is me planning for the late game, because that's when we're going to win. That's our win condition, and I don't necessarily need my blink online immediately to have a big impact. Like, I'm having a big impact just fighting without it. So here, even with the Midas, right, we see a big fight breaking out mid. I farmed the jungle a little bit, used my Midas, showed up mid, and I'm fighting all game. Fight, 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 fight. That's what this hero does well. And when you're not fighting, you want to farm as best you can too, but it's a little bit trickier. And because I went the Midas, I don't end up completing my treads. I think I just end up going straight blink afterwards. So we'll speed this up. But here, another big fight. I end up TPing in, show up, get some kills. Same kind of thing. Big fight goes down, you want to be there. That's this hero. And then instead of taking farm from my cores in their lanes, I just jungle with amp. Because Slardar is actually a pretty good jungler when it comes with amp. Making sure I get all of my mana out and then go back to base. That extra 200 to 300 gold can really matter. And you can see, like, Tiny's about to finish his blink. He's at 2100. and I'm at 1200 now. So I'm going to be like a minute or two behind him in terms of finishing a blink. But the rest of this game is just me and Tiny grouping up, killing people who are off by themselves, and then when they group up and push, we got Gyro to fight him, as well as my blink to sort of set up his call down. And that's kind of how this game ends up going. So I think I'm going to stop with that replay, and we're going to go to the next one, which is me versus a tri-lane. So check out this replay. This is 5204, and then we'll talk about trying to fight a tri-lane, because fighting a tri-lane is definitely different than fighting a dual lane. And in that last game I was definitely the stronger lane, or we were definitely the stronger lane, but that's not always going to be the case. And when you're fighting a tri-lane where you're not necessarily the stronger lane, you got to be a little bit smarter about how you go about your fights. So this is 5204, so that's this guy. I'm going to watch this replay. So in this replay, I pick Slardar first. Say if anyone wants to come dual lane with me, they can. And the guy on my team picks a Tusk, decides to come with me. As you can see, I first pick it. And they pick a pretty disgusting tri-lane to go against us, because they're expecting us to Tusk Slardar them. So they pick Spirit Breaker, Ancient Apparition, and Ursa, even a really fighting carry. And so what you're going to want to do in these matchups where you're playing against like a pretty fighting heavy matchup is, one, you get down there early, get your ward out. See, using a ward spot that I talked about in my video.
30 seconds to battle.
And this is just to deny their pull. And then same thing, we end up contesting the rune here because there's two of us, and I think we can steal the rune. Mostly just me coordinating our stun as well as our snowball at different times. Unfortunately, we stack it, and so what ends up happening is I end up dying to this Ancient Apparition Cold Feet. I even tried to salve to outplay it, but it didn't work. Big mistake. Don't feed first blood at the rune. That was dumb. We stole the rune for sure, but if we'd coordinated our stuns better, we might have gotten out. Still a big mistake. Puts us at a big disadvantage. Ursa's going to have boots now because he got the opening kill. So we're going to have trouble. So what you're looking to do in these tri-lanes, right, is one, hope your ward sticks, because that's a big deal. If they can't pull, that's a big win. But this guy's got sentries, and I think he ends up trying to D-ward, and we'll check that later, but he ends up missing the D-ward. But what you're looking to do in these matchups is you can't necessarily fight just to fight. You have to wait until the right moment. And so here you can see I'm pulling aggro back, trying to get as much farm without getting harassed by the carry. And what you're looking to do is you're looking to trade with this guy when he's out of position. And so you can see he's in a position where his carry can't support him, so I hit him once, and he just completely made the wrong play and just ran away. But here, same thing. Trading. And then here I expect Ursa to get aggressive, but he decides not to. And so we've burned half the HP on this Spirit Breaker, and now we have a good wave equilibrium. We can look to get aggressive on these guys if we're looking for it. But more just farming. Like playing aggressive, fighting supports, same kind of thing. He comes back, he's a little bit low HP. We're waiting on level 2 right now. Mostly level 2 on Tusk. He went off to the rune. Here I end up playing a little bit of a do-si-do with Ursa, because Ursa wants to use his Furry Stripes, or his overpower on me. Here he's out of position. Hit him. Easy kills. There's the mango for the extra stun. Get an extra kill on AA. But all of this kill, like that main kill was set up by the fact that, and we'll go back and we'll watch this again in 1x speed, but that kill was set up by the fact that we forced the Spirit Breaker to trade, and then the Spirit Breaker is just not a participant in this lane. Right? So Ursa gets out of position. I use my stun before he hits me. Then Tusk uses his stun, takes a lot of damage. Again, disengage, re-engage, using the AoE on stun to not only hit AA, but also to hit Ursa. And then here, understanding that AA doesn't do that much damage and continuing to chase. Getting a nice follow-up from my Tusk. He used a salve to heal up, and then we end up killing this AA. And unfortunately, this Spirit Breaker went to the top lane, so he's showing in the top lane as well as not having much HP. And so we're taking the fight to them at the right moment, rather than necessarily just fighting to fight. So now I've got basically my early game items up. I've got boots and I've got a stick. Ursa comes back. He's got bad lane. So this stun, this initial stun that I'm setting up on him, is basically just a creep stun, right? See how many creeps I have? If I stun him here, he's going to tank all these creeps and take a ton of damage. So that was the point of this stun. AA uses all of his spells, but you can see how much damage we did to the Ursa, and I'm not really paying attention to this, but AA ends up dying because she gets trapped in the shards. Ursa's really low HP, and playing pretty greedy, honestly. Trying to get those last little bit of farm. And this is this is from one of my other videos, which is like my guide on double waving, but we have essentially a triple wave here, and so we can choose to dive this tower. Here I use the nice AoE on the stun to get a nice stun, like I'm standing here and I get a nice stun on him. And then that phase movement speed allows me to move through Tuskar, so we can both right click him and get that kill onto the tower. So aggression, 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 right? And then we'll keep showing this video. Here it's about 4 minutes, so I end up choosing to go for the rune. Tusk's getting the farm bottom. I'm just doing this to deny the rune mostly, and then hoping there's a bounty, because I really like bounties. And because we've been fighting so much in this lane, I choose to go bash, just for that extra chance to get some damage. We'll see if it ends up being the right choice. I go Gloves of Speed because I went bash. Might have been better to just go the extra point and sprint. But most of the time you're going to level up sprint when you're looking to roam mid. And when you're looking to fight in your lane, you're going to go bash at 4 for that value point. So here, again, more fighting, which is good. That's what we want. We're trying to keep this guy down. You can see the last hits on Ursa are pretty low. Here, Spirit Breaker shows up. I get a nice double stun. We stack our stuns a little bit, so that's a mistake. But I use my stun, I create space, and then I disengage, look to re-engage. Again, another nice stun. I probably didn't have to stun there, but ended up doing it. And it ended up working out for us there. Here, we keep diving, get another kill on the Spirit Breaker. A nice Sunstrike from Invoker gets a kill on me, but it's just more and more aggression. Disengage, re-engage, using that cooldown to its most effectiveness, which is 8 seconds. And like most of what's happening in this game is we have a 1v1 matchup or a 2v1 matchup top. So in this game, right, it's the same situation as, or the same win condition as before. We've got a Slark who's up against an offlane Windrunner and has a Dazzle up there as well. And Tusk and I are creating massive amounts of space bottom. Here I go for the treads because I don't necessarily want the blink at 6 minutes or at 9 minutes. It's a little too early to have it come online. Here, fighting. He's tanking creeps. That's like the biggest thing. When you stun heroes, you want them to be tanking creeps as well. Tusk comes back. We waste their ultimate, or waste Ursa's ultimate, and so now I'm looking to re-engage, use my stun, create space, then back re-engaging. And it's just a bunch of fighting like that. I get my ultimate, get a nice triple kill. And, you know, 8 minutes into the game, 1,500 gold, treads, magic wand, stout shield. We also take this tower at 8 minutes. Like, we destroyed this game, and it's all in the first 8 minutes. Here Ursa shows up. I have no idea why he decided to get aggressive there all by himself. Especially at the wrong time. Then Spirit Breaker chooses to feed. And this game is basically won from this point. 8 minutes in. Like, this is obviously the extreme example, but 10 kills, tower down, 8 minutes, blink, treads, wand. Like, you can go do whatever you want this game. And then what do I say? What do I look at this game? I look at who's doing well on their team, and I say I want to keep that hero down, and so I target the Invoker. So my next gank is basically me running to the mid lane to kill the Invoker, and I even drag Tusk and Dazzle along with me, and I say if we can shut that guy down and take this tower out, get a nice kill. Invoker's smart though, dodges the gank, but AA ends up dying trying to protect him. And then here, like, I'm able to play this aggro because of how high a level I am, right? I'm level...
Radiant structures are fortified.
I'm level 8 at this point, whereas their supports are 4, their carries 6, right? That's just what getting a lot of kills early will do. There, using my mana. So I think that's all I want to show from this game. And let's see, there's one more game where I want to talk about early aggression, which is... I think it's this game. 53-72, right? 53-72. Is it this one? No, it's not that one. Ah, it's this one. So this is another game where we get some early aggression, and like most of the reason why I'm talking about this is that Slardar is it's very important on Slardar to pick the right fights, and you know you can do Slardar with any combination of things. Again, I first pick Slardar because I don't care what they pick. I feel confident playing it against anything. What ends up happening is we get an Undying who decides to want to go top with me, and that's fine. Lots of different various combos. The Undying's got the ward this time, so I'm just chilling here on this high ground, looking to fight at the rune spot. And what you're going to find is that you're a really strong fighter at the rune spot, so most of the rune fights are going to be around you at the top lane. And so here I'm playing really aggro, trying to get them to go on me. Luna's in a bad position, so I walk up. He walks up and lets me get a crush off. Nice decay and follow-up from our Dazzle gets a nice early kill. So kind of a big mistake by the Luna, basically feeding first blood. Because of that, I don't necessarily get the block that I was looking for, but it ends up being okay because Luna's not there at the start. So what do you see? You see auto-denying at the start. We're pulling the wave back kind of thing, or I should be, to control that wave. So that the wave is pushing into us and we can get more experience. Or more experience in farm. The pull has been blocked by us, I think. No, see, they went for the D wards. So these are the two D ward spots. See how it covers pretty much all of the spots. So the Undying actually didn't even elect to block it. He just elected to do this. And I think that's okay. When you're in a dual lane, it's not as important to block, but it can be. And so here, we're going to pause this. And then I'm going to switch to 1x speed. And switch to my perspective. And so what we ended up choosing to do is we kind of hung back for a little while until I got level 2 in sprint. And then I said, hey, let's go. Undying's level 2, gets a nice double decay. Use sprint to get in range for a crush, drop a nice tombstone, and get a nice kill on Luna. Early aggression. That's all Slardar is about, especially in these dual lanes. Again, Luna comes up too close. Like, what I'm thinking about when I'm trying to get aggressive is, like, what are their spells that they're using? I ping here because I wanted the Undying to pull, but this ward, I think, blocks it. Or we've blocked it twice. So now we catch Tusk running top, but I think we decide that we can fight this anyway. Oh, he was invisible, never mind. So we didn't know that he was there. But same thing, I'm aggroing creeps, pulling. Drop a nice tomb here. It ends up getting focused down. And I think we both end up dying. I kill Tusk, and then I get out. So we trade the Undying for the Tusk, and that ends up being okay in this lane. But I'm playing around cold feet on AA. I'm trying to bait it out by getting aggressive and then just retreating. I wasted my magic stick charges there. Or I guess it wasn't a waste. I just used them. But again, getting aggressive. I now have a Dazzle with me. AA is pulled too far out of position, get a nice kill. And again, this is what you want to be doing on Slardar. 4 minutes in, 3 kills. Tons of aggression, tons of fighting. We're not worried so much about last hits. We're picking them up where we can, not missing last hits. But this is how you win games with this hero. So you set up early aggression situations, and then what's happening on the other side of the map? We've got a Queen of Pain who's essentially in a 1v1 matchup because we're forcing so many rotations, and then we've got a Freak farming Hearthscar in the safe lane. Right? Create pressure in this lane, force rotations, force them to make plays, and win the game off of your teammates making plays. It took me forever to learn that I could facilitate my teammates doing well, and that would help me win games. And it's kind of scary that it took me until 5K to learn that. But that's probably the biggest lesson I've learned playing this hero. So I hope these replays helped. I hope you go out and play some Slardar and own some face. So best of luck.